Hello and welcome to Tech Time Live. My name is Jonathan Ott and I'm proud to be the Digital Marketing Specialist for BEA. With me today is Jacob DiBattista, Technical Service Specialist at BEA. Today's topic will be BEA laser products. We will be discussing BEA's LZR product line, how BEA uses laser technology in our sensors, how to differentiate between sensors and common applications for each sensor. Products include LZR-FLATSCAN SW, LZR-FLATSCAN 3D SW, LZR-MICROSCAN T, LZR-WIDESCAN, LZR-I30, LZR-H100 and LZR-S600. Topics covered include laser technology, how to identify an LZR sensor, and common applications. Let's take it over to Jacob and get things started.
Welcome everyone to a Tech Time Live. I'm Jacob DiBattista with the BEA Tech Services Department. Today, what we're going to be going over is the LZR product line. You can see I have here on my table. It goes from industrial to pedestrian. But the reason that we're making this video is we want to help you identify the differences between each LZR. The common tech call that we get is someone calling in, they say, well, I have this LZR up on the door. I'm getting said LED flashes. I don't know what's going on. But a lot of people know them as just LZRs, but LZR is just the prefix. We need to go over how you identify them, how they work, and the most common applications. The LZR systems use time of flight. That is the distance, the measurement in time that it takes from point A to point B and back. So it measures that little bit of time in between. So it knows how big you are, how small you are, how long an object is. It's almost like measuring X, Y, and Z coordinates depending on the sensor. So to get started with how to identify these sensors, you'll see right here, we have three LZRs. They are the I30, the S600, and the H100. They look the exact same, but how do I identify which one they are? If you take one of them, for example, this one is the S600. I'm going to show you up close. Right on the bottom, we have the part number sticker right here. So LZR-S600. If we go to this one is the LZR-I30. Disregard the markings on the bottom. Then this one we have on the little bracket, but if you look underneath, LZR-H100 right there. So they may look the same, but they are not the same. And we'll go over what each one does after I show you how to identify each one. This is the LZR-FLATSCAN 3D. In order to identify this one, we go to the back. It says right there, LZR-FLATSCAN 3D. And then this one is the regular flat scan. You're going to see the comparison between the two. This one has a bigger head. This one does not. This one, if we take the back cover off, is the regular LZR-FLATSCAN SW. Now, the main difference between these two, because we need to identify between the two to know what's what, is this one has a microscan head inside. This one does not. So the thickness, and you can tell very clearly the difference. LZR, FLATSCAN 3D. Now, I mentioned the microscan head. This sensor right here, this is the microscan. This is what you'll see up on the corner of the door, just like the flat scans. Oval in shape. And it has the split the lens cover right here. And last but not least, we have the LZR-WIDESCAN. We have had this referred to by many as the Falcon WIDESCAN, the Darth Vader helmet, the Falcon IS-40 WIDESCAN. This is just LZR-WIDESCAN. And if you look on the back, right here, that's where you find the part number. And just to clear up something for all of you, all of these products that we just named, I30, the S600, the WIDESCAN, the part number for all of them just begins with a 10. So the 10 LZR WIDESCAN, the 10 LZR FLATSCAN, and then it goes by a few letters with what color that you want. 10 LZR I30, 10 LZR-S600, and 10 LZR-H100. So mainly just putting a 10 at the beginning is how you decipher a BEA product. So we went over what is each sensor. Now we want to go over what do they do. Starting from left to right, we have the LZR-H100. This one, I'm actually going to bring something onto the screen. This is a gate sensor. Usually, you're going to see it mounted onto a post, kind of like this. This is not something we sell at BEA. You can get a post like this, a bollard from another company, and then you can even customize it for the H100. But usually, this would go for a gate application, a barrier arm, a slide gate, a swing gate, whatever they're using. And it's going to send a square signal out onto the driveway, onto the street, whatever it is that you're trying to detect vehicles on. It's used to hold open the gate in case someone's just standing in the field. Now, this one is the S600. It's the same concept. This one goes 30 by 30 feet. This one goes 80 by 80 feet. This one does not decipher between vehicles and pedestrians like the H100 does for gates. One of the main applications that you could use this one on is alarms and security kind of things. What I mean by alarms and security is, for example, let's say you have a 60-foot fence. You can put this up on the corner of the fence and shoot across the whole width of it 60 feet. And the moment that someone touches that fence or goes near, it's going to send a signal to whatever alarm system you have it on. The other thing that we could use this on is, for example, a museum or an art exhibit, wherever you're trying to make sure that no one touches the exhibit, or maybe you're trying to make sure that no one's even in the room in general. Whether you have it horizontally mount or vertical mount, as long as you're in the field with this, because it has such a big range, it's going to send the signal to the alarm system. And you can even turn off the LEDs that'll show on the bottom. It'll be blue and then either red or green, depending on the detection state. But you can turn those off. The LZR-I30, this is basically the same concept as the H100, but this is more designed for doors. So you're going to put it up on the top right or top left or center of an industrial door, and it's going to have a vertical curtain coming down. And what this is for is it's used primarily as a safety product for an industrial door, but you can also do a virtual push button. So let's say you have this up on the corner, and I want to choose right here that if I put my hand, it's going to send a signal to open that door, just like a regular push button. You can program that with one of these remotes that have the colors on the bottom or on the top. And then that's going to tell the LZR, ignore detection all around this field to open the door, except for where I put my hand. And that you can use that to open your door if you don't need the vehicle to be going from far away. You can have them stop, walk out, put their hand out, or if it's a door that's used for pedestrians, doesn't have to be a big industrial door for a warehouse. You can just have them put their hand up right to the side of the industrial rolling steel door. I've seen it on high-speed roll-up doors, not on regular pedestrian doors, just industrial doors. Now that brings us to the FLATSCAN 3D. And we're really going to talk about the FLATSCAN 3D and the regular FLATSCAN both at the same time, because their applications are identical. The only exception being that the 3D has a new feature. So here's the inside of both FLATSCANs. This is the FLATSCAN regular. This is the FLATSCAN 3D. Let's act like this is a regular automatic door for pedestrians. Usually, when you're deciding which sensor to put up on the store, which side is the hinge on, the left or the right? It's on the left this time. So I have a left mount FLATSCAN 3D that usually you would mount it up on the top left corner of the door, just like this, making sure that the top is horizontal at the top and the side is completely vertical with the hinge side. If it was a right mount sensor and the hinge was on the right side, same concept. Just make sure that the arm of the door is not in the field of the sensor. Make sure you have a spacer or whatever behind it to make sure it goes out past the handle. Installation instructions for all these sensors. We do have Tech Time Lives for a majority of these, and we do have other videos on the YouTube channel. So we go more in depth in those. But to stick with the point, FLATSCAN 3D up here is going to project 4 curtains out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And the distance between each curtain depends on the height. The regular FLATSCAN let's just say it was up here. It's just one single curtain along this doorway. So whenever you're doing a teach-in, you're going to swipe your hand on the leading edge of this door and tell it, I want the field to cut off here. And it's going to go all the way down to the ground. One of the biggest differentiators between the functioning of the 3D and the regular flat scan are the dip switches are a little bit different. So on the regular flat scan, dip switch 3 was normally open versus normally closed. Now on the flat scan 3D, you have to program that by remote. It's something completely different. But one of the other things is the flat scan 3D has a virtual push button, just like the i30. So whenever you're doing your teach-in, you're going to do a specific sequence to get it started. And then whenever it's doing the red, green flashes, it's going to signal for you at a certain point to put your hand in the field where you want it to be. So it could be right here. You could use your foot and put it down here. It could be right here, wherever. You don't, just make sure you don't put it on the door in the swing path of the door, because someone's going to get hit, and that's against the ANSI. You want to make sure that you put your field, you're already going to have a push button along with this anyways, but if this is additional, you want to make sure that your virtual push button is at the side of the door, not in the swing. But that's the biggest differentiator between the flat scan and the flat scan 3D. These are going to be mainly used for swing doors only, and they are going to be maybe a Walgreens or a Target or a Walmart or anywhere that might have a swing door. One of the other LZRs we have, and this is what a lot of people commonly call the LZR, is the LZR-MICROSCAN. I have the inside right here. So this is the inside of the cupboard of the oval. You're going to see at the top, it literally says in big letters, LZR, but it says microscan as well. Make sure that when you call, because if it's a pedestrian door, and you'll make it clear, you're going to say, I have a microscan on a BSUM SW200 or a Stanley 521. You want to make sure that you specify as a flat scan 3D, or a microscan, not just LZR, because it's going to determine the path that we take on the tech call. But the microscan, it has 4 fields just like the flat scan 3D, as it's literally the head that's inside of the flat scan 3D, just without a hub. Used primarily for activation, reactivation, stall, and safety on a door. Usually we pair this up with an eagle. The eagle does the activation. This makes sure that the door doesn't hit someone on the swing path. Along with that, we can tie this up to a knowing act device so that it will not primarily open a door. Let's say it's a low energy door. You want to push plate to activate first. Well, we have a hub that goes with this microscan that you can program that into the hub. So pedestrian doors, reactivation, stall and safety. Industrial doors, some of them are for activation, while others are meant more for safety. And then we have the wide scan, activation, presence, and safety on an industrial door. The wide scan, if you can imagine this, it beams out the lasers down here onto the ground and it scans. There's a spinning mirror inside and it projects out 7 curtains. It's almost like a pyramid. There's 1 straight down, 2, 3, 4, all the way out. And then it just, whenever it sees something, this is the one that detects the XYZ coordinate, the XYZ measurements. And whenever it knows your height, your width, and your XYZ coordinates, it's going to know, are you a vehicle? Are you a pedestrian? Or are you something else? And should I not be detecting you? The wide scan is probably one of our more commonly used ones for the industrial doors, because it has a lot more features than just the regular i30 and the S600. The thing about the wide scan as well is it's the same concept as the i30 and the flat scan 3D in terms of a virtual push button, but it does a virtual pull cord. So if I had a garage and whenever you're standing in one select spot in the field, you want that to be what opens it, the wide scan will send the signal that only when you're in that spot on the field, it's going to send a virtual pull cord signal to the door operator and allow the door to go open. So it does both motion, presence, just like the IS-40, and safety that holds the door open. Thank you everyone for watching this Tech Time Live. My name is Jake with BEA Tech Services. If you have any questions about any of the things that we discussed in this video, make sure to give us a call, or you can search the BEA YouTube channel, as we do have a lot of shorter videos that discuss a little bit of different things about each sensor. Also, whenever you get these sensors, make sure that you have a remote with the colors either at the top or the bottom. This is the new one that we sell with the colors on the top, as the old remote does not have the colors that you can program different functions on each sensor. But the biggest point to get from this is when you call, make sure that you know which LZR you're calling on, because each one has a specific design and purpose. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you everyone for watching this Tech Time Live. Today we covered BEA laser products. We went over laser technology, how to identify an LZR product, and common applications. For more Tech Time Live videos, visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/BEAsensors. Also be sure to visit our website at www.beasensors.com. Thank you for watching and have a great day.